We've been discussing Dr. Umar for a while, and there's one thing he always brings up whenever criticism arises. He blames what he calls YouTubian demons, struggle streamers, and those who don't believe in king consciousness, insisting they're the ones spreading negativity, not his supporters. At first, that explanation might sound reasonable. But things change when his longtime supporters, people who've followed him for nearly a decade, some since his Breakfast Club interview, start questioning him. These are loyal followers who donated money, live near the FDMG Academy, and are now wondering why there's still no visible progress. YouTuber Lean on Honor has been covering this issue extensively. In one of his reports, he interviewed a longtime supporter, a truck driver who contributed to the project. The man explained how he passes the academy regularly and finds it in poor condition, with mold and neglect everywhere. This has raised doubts about where the reported $2 to $2.5 million in donations actually went. Got to give him credit, Lean on Honor deserves recognition for how thoroughly he's been covering this story. Lean on's interview captures the growing frustration among Dr. Umar's followers. People who once believed in his mission are now demanding proof of how their money has been used. At this stage, if Dr. Umar wants to maintain credibility, he needs to respond transparently, showing receipts, updates, or real evidence of progress. Otherwise, the allegations of hypocrisy and mismanagement will only intensify.
Can you give full financial transparency?
I can, but I wouldn't.
Okay, why not?
Because the only people we are accountable to are our donors. If you're not a donor, we owe you nothing. We are not a publicly funded school.
Would you do that to the donors?
Sure, my donors, yeah. But the donors don't care because they understand what we're going through. The donors have been there through the whole ride. It's the haters who have all the questions, and the haters don't matter.
Dr. Umar. This situation is unbelievable, and there's clearly more to uncover. For nearly a decade, he's maintained this elaborate narrative, but it's starting to unravel, not because of critics, but because his own supporters are beginning to see through it. If the school's construction is really in its final stages, there shouldn't be visible signs of neglect. Yet, what we're seeing tells a different story: trash scattered around the property, mold on the walls, and an overall lack of upkeep. How can anyone plan to educate children in a building with mold growing inside? That's not only unprofessional, it's potentially hazardous to health. Still, we keep hearing that the project is 80% complete and nearing its conclusion. Let's take a closer look. This situation is actually reminiscent of the Tiffany Hinyard case, where claims were made about certain projects or developments, but when people visited those locations, there was nothing happening. The same pattern seems to be unfolding here with Dr. Umar. It's unlikely he expected anyone to live or work right next to the school building, but that's the reality of social media. People from all over the world tune in, and some of them happen to be nearby. They can easily verify what's being shown online. When something starts off with misinformation, people naturally begin to check for themselves, not necessarily to disprove you, but out of curiosity. So, if someone lives a few miles from the school, they might drive by to see what's really happening. Interestingly, Dr. Umar's live streams from the school often take place very early in the morning or late at night. The lighting and setting make the building look more like a storage facility than a functioning school. Think about it, almost every video you've seen of him at the site is filmed around 9 or 10 at night. Now, the footage being shown here, recorded by the truck driver who lives nearby, was taken recently, just a few days ago. As of now,
you might see some kids, riding their bikes past there, or some people, walking past that street, driving past it, but nobody's ever there doing any type of work.
Yeah, and I'm showing some of the video right now. So you said that you drive through this area often, and I know you also said that you deliver certain types of supplies. What supplies do you deliver?
I've delivered to construction sites for school buildings, hotels, people restoring their houses, people actually building businesses. So I've delivered flooring, stuff to do landscaping, any type of materials that, sink fixtures, furniture, like I've delivered it all. And I've seen people, building businesses from the ground up. I'm talking about just laid the foundation, or they just bought, a building that they're fully restoring. And when they're building stuff, they're doing it in layers. You know, I might be bringing the flooring, but you might not be putting the flooring in till last because you don't want to drag all those materials over that, damaging the stuff that you just bought, you know, brand new linoleum floors and all that. You don't want to drag that stuff across there. So, you know, they're building up the walls, they're doing the plastering, they're doing the electrical work, the plumbing and all that. I've seen this stuff in stages, various stages, different buildings.
Think about store upgrades at places like Target. They have a plan, a foreman, materials delivered, and they execute it step by step. The foreman or the person in charge organizes everything. First this, then that, install this, install that, and then the project is complete. Everything is done in layers until it's finished. That's what this guy is describing, a systematic approach where the job gets done efficiently and fully. Dr. Umar, on the other hand, presents the opposite. He talks about having to install toilets, floors, and other elements, then going back later to fix things because they weren't done correctly the first time. He blames contractors for refusing to return and complete the work. But here's the truth: if a project is properly managed and funded, there should be no need for backtracking. Any need to redo work signals a serious flaw in planning or leadership. Dr. Umar is misleading his audience. Common sense dictates that certain tasks must be completed before others. Remember that video of him cleaning toilets with paint still on them? He blamed the construction team, but either he doesn't know how to manage a project, or he's been dishonest from the start.
Taking the shit in the toilet, not cleaning up. King Kong. Off the hook. I got to clean, brothers and sisters. I got to clean. The greatest amongst you shall be your servant.
And honestly, those toilets may have been in that condition the entire time. Who knows?
None of this stuff is getting done at those abandoned buildings. None of it.
Mm-hmm. You were a Umar supporter at one time, correct?
Yeah, I want to say what 2020 is. It was right around one of the first times he was on the Breakfast Club. I think it was the one time where he was wearing the that same
his costume
button-up shirt that he was in that supposed office, I guess, in one of his old apartments or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was when he did that show, and I admit, you know, when he first was on there and he was saying a lot of the things, you know, some of the rhetoric that he says, it catches you because we as Black people, we don't have a lot of those things that you see in other communities, you know, some of our own hospitals, our own banks and school setups that a lot of other communities that you might see in like a Little Italy or a Chinatown, things like that. Yeah. So when you first hear him, you're like, we should have that, you know, tight-knit community. When we do our research and our history, how we had, you know, our own city in Tulsa and all.
And that's exactly how he gets people. That's the appeal, the vision he presents. The idea of having a self-sufficient community, with its own hospital, daycare, and bank all in one place. He compares it to a Chinatown or Japantown, but calls it Africa Town. It sounds impressive, inspiring, and like something worth supporting. When Dr. Umar appeared on the Breakfast Club, many thought, this man has vision. This is remarkable. He's trying to uplift his community. That's where he captures people's attention. He has convinced people to believe in his vision, to donate, and yet nothing is being built. The school he promotes? Never going to be completed. He's holding on to an abandoned building, claiming it is proof, while the project drags on. And he'll continue as long as he can keep the donations coming. The truth is starting to surface. Longtime supporters are waking up, documenting the reality, and sharing evidence that contradicts his claims. Dr. Umar isn't committed to Pan-Africanism or truly uplifting his community. He's focused on the money and maintaining the illusion.
Behold, when you start listening to him more, and then you start seeing the results of some of the things that he claims that never come to fruition, that's when, you know, the truth comes to you. And in listening to some of his stuff, I don't know if the algorithm just led me to you or whatever, but your video came up, one of your earlier ones, and I've been following with you ever since.
Yeah, and I'm showing the video right now. You mentioned, people can see
those
it.
are pants. I don't know whose pants they are, but I'm literally walking, as you see in the video, I'm walking down that entire street, and I was filming a lot of the quote unquote the high school. But if you've collected over $2 million, and all you've done is paint the outside of the smaller building, and redid some of those doors, money to even put windows in the other one, like it's ridiculous. It's deplorable how bad those rampways and those stairs are. You can see the foundation crackling underneath it, the pieces of it. And then when I walked by those final steps, I was like, look at this. Like you can't make this stuff up. And that's just sitting right there in plain sight, pants on the ground. I'm quite sure if somebody moved them, there's probably soot and all types of stuff around there. So who knows how long they've been there? Because on the other side, those same bags of trash are sitting there. Like I said in the video, you got time to put your handprints and paint rocks and all that, and put your face on the side of a wall, but you can't even come pick this stuff up. But you're working.
And there's more trash right there too. I see that behind the fence.
Like, I know my video isn't as thorough as I've seen some of the other people that have been up there and visited, but I went up there, like I said, just this past Sunday, and just shot it real quick, and it's ridiculous. And I wish I could have I just walked up to random people and would like ask them, and I wish I could have put them on video, but I didn't want to put anybody's face out there or whatever. But you should do this. They half the people there, unless you catch somebody that's watched some of the YouTube stuff, they don't know anything about a school that's getting built up there. You've seen in his videos, those kids are clueless to anything he says about a school and all that. You see, you see that part of the video? That mold goes all the way up to the top.
It's clear there's a serious mold problem in the building. The mold is spreading throughout the structure, in the attic, the basement, and other areas. There are likely leaks and ongoing water damage inside the school. At this point, renovating the building would cost far more than is reasonable, and it's doubtful that the resources exist to properly address it. The school's current condition suggests that it cannot be maintained or improved under its present management. There's a real risk that the property could eventually be sold back to the city if no progress is made. Essentially, the school remains in its current state to maintain the illusion that the project is ongoing and that the mission is still active. Realistically, there's little chance this school will ever be completed as promised. However, for those who continue to believe in Dr. Umar and his vision, they can choose to maintain their faith. But based on the evidence and current conditions, the project appears unlikely to reach completion.
Who knows what the inside of that thing looks like?
Yeah, and that's the large gym with all of his belongings, and it's just filthy in there. But I know in this video you said it actually looks worse than mold. It does. It looks worse than it did when Famertu went up there. And
that's going on all the way down the side of the wall. Like there's streaks like that all the way down.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that Breakfast Club interview that you were referencing, that was from December 13th of 2019. When did you first started following Umar, or when you first learned about him?
I think that's probably when I saw that Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Yeah, when I saw that Breakfast Club-ish episode, that's when I started following and looking into. I donated probably like $30-40.
Now, consider someone who donated $30 or $40 to the Ministry of Umar. If that person wanted to approach Dr. Umar directly and ask, "I'm a supporter, I contributed money, and I'd like to see how it's being used," the response likely wouldn't be straightforward. Dr. Umar might shame smaller donors for contributing what he considers an insignificant amount. He could say one thing publicly, but when it comes to actually providing transparency, he might move the goalposts, for example, only sharing detailed information with donors who contributed $1,000 or more. A $40 donation, in his view, would be dismissed entirely. This approach reflects a broader pattern of manipulation. Dr. Umar presents himself as a leader and visionary, but when accountability is requested, he shifts standards and avoids scrutiny. These tactics contribute to his reputation as one of the most deceptive figures of 2025, particularly when it comes to managing donations and maintaining the appearance of legitimacy.
Just to say I gave something. When he had the first festival or whatever, I was still listening to you, but I was trying to at least, see what it took to be a vendor there, because, I had a clothing line that I wanted to go and put out there and possibly promote. And I was the one that sent you the application of what everything that he had on there for the vendor thing.
Sure
right?
did. Yeah,
right,
sure did. Yep.
Right at the bottom, you see that he didn't even have electricity then, because he said it on the application. He's like, you have to supply your own power sources and water supply and all that. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So where the question is that, he says that, oh, only my donors can ask. Well, I was a donor and I would have absolutely asked, well, where is all the money going?
At this point, someone who donates a small amount, say $40, is likely to be dismissed or labeled a struggle streamer by Dr. Umar. He might respond with statements like, "You can't impede king consciousness, get behind me, demon," effectively undermining smaller donors. But $40 is not insignificant. In fact, from a single person, it's a meaningful contribution. If Dr. Umar has hundreds of thousands of viewers, even small individual contributions can add up, yet a $40 donation should arguably be valued highly. Many supporters may give smaller amounts like $2, $5, or $10, making this donor's contribution one of the more substantial ones. Despite this, donors are unlikely to receive any transparency or explanation regarding how their money is being used. Each time a supporter attempts to ask questions or request accountability, Dr. Umar is likely to provide excuses, claiming they're fake donors, unbelievers, or otherwise unworthy of insight. This pattern suggests that genuine donors are routinely dismissed, and accountability is effectively avoided.
Kai said that he's building a school in Nigeria.
Okay, I know he is.
And
I met him.
During that time, everybody was attacking him, telling him he's scammers. To dispel the haters, he gave full financial transparency and told everything that was going on. Can you give full financial transparency?
I can, but I wouldn't.
Okay, why not?
Because the only people we are accountable to are our donors. If you're not a donor, we owe you nothing. We are not a publicly funded school.
Would you do that to the donors?
Sure. My donors, yeah. But the donors don't care because they understand what we're going through. The donors have been there through the whole ride. It's the haters who have all the questions.
You don't even have the lights turned on. Like, you don't even have the water turned on. Those things are attached before you even start construction, because you're gonna need those things to see and put installation and wiring in and run water to clean stuff. Like, how do you not have those things hooked up before you start working? Like, none of that adds up. And it's a shame, and I say it all the time when I'm in your chat and when I watch some of the, the Information Mans and Lady Lux and I watch some of these other platforms, I say it all the time. Like, if people would just step back, take the savior complex out of it, if they would just step back and look at this dude for what he is. If you don't even have...
Kendrick Lamar once said, "I am not your savior." The same applies here. Dr. Umar is not anyone's savior. The only person truly responsible for improving their life is themselves. You cannot rely entirely on the government, and you cannot rely on Dr. Umar. Individual effort is essential. Of course, there are government programs or supportive networks that people can benefit from, but at the end of the day, personal responsibility and hard work are key. No one else will do the work for you. It's concerning and disheartening to see people placing their trust in Dr. Umar to save children or communities. In reality, the evidence suggests that he is focused on personal gain rather than community development. Reports and observations indicate that he continues to travel, maintain multiple relationships, and enjoy a lifestyle funded by supporters' contributions. Meanwhile, the promises of the school and other community projects remain unfulfilled. For those who believe their donations are going toward a meaningful cause, the situation is a stark reminder that personal accountability and scrutiny are essential. blind faith in a single figure will not achieve the results supporters hope for.
The rhetoric that he can spew off like a champ. Look at his antics. That right there should tell you that is not a person that you want leading anybody, especially young children. That's ridiculous. And it's sad and it's scary that people latch onto him like he's the next greatest thing that should be.
It's alarming and concerning. Dr. Umar is not the next Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. He is not a historic leader or visionary. He is, at best, a constructed persona. The reality is that Dr. Umar presents himself as a leader, a savior, or a community figure, but these claims are misleading. Recognizing this distinction is important. Understanding that he is not a genuine spokesperson or beacon for the community allows supporters and observers to make more informed decisions about who they follow and what causes they invest in. Once this clarity is achieved, people will be far better equipped to navigate the situation and protect themselves from deception.
People, like how do we get the bar so low that he's the one that we want to pick to lead us?
Yeah, and you said you donated because Umar says that he updates donors on how much money he's raised. Has he ever updated you?
Never. That dude don't update nobody.
Yeah, he's lying.
Because here's what I also think in my mind too. Let's just say, let's throw a number out there. Let's say you donated $100, and then ask him a question. He'd probably come back with you, well, you didn't donate $5, so you can't ask me a question till you donate $5. Let's say you peeled him off the $5. He's gonna keep moving the goalposts so he doesn't have to answer any questions. That's that accountability part. So yeah, that whole loyal donors club and I only am accountable to my donors and everything. That's all false. Yeah. And you're a thing that accepts donations, which means your charities are public record. So anybody off the street has the ability to ask you any type of question. How you keep coming up with this stuff in your brain, that's only to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also mentioned that rock over there, and here it is right here, that's has the handprints on it. Those were adults that did that were out there. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So it wasn't. It wasn't like it was children that he was working with that put their handprints on this rock over here. It was actually grown people.
The only interaction we seen with it was the children when he was questioning those kids about the supposed break-ins at the other buildings, and he was ready to talk harsh to them. It wasn't like I'm sorry kids, this is about to be the school. He's ready talking about calling the cops on people.
Yeah.
That behavior is not very Pan-African, and it raises serious concerns. Even in situations involving children from the community, calling the authorities instead of handling matters internally appears hypocritical. Many people, myself included, used to like Dr. Umar. He was seen as humorous, charismatic, and someone with a vision for something greater. But over time, it has become clear that his actions do not align with that image. What was once perceived as a playful or ambitious personality now appears to be a deliberate effort to mislead and exploit others. In reality, he is operating as a scam artist rather than a genuine community leader.
Something ain't right with this guy. What, you remember what year?
Gosh. If it was 2000, if it was 2020, if it was 2020, it had to be 2021. It wasn't that long. It wasn't that long after I came upon one of your videos, and it was off to the races from there.
Yeah, was it anything in particular though that made you say, "Hey, wait a minute, this guy"?
I want to say, I think when you started putting a lot of the figures together, as far as the amount of money that he's collected, and then you step back and you look, and I think you did a diagram one time with the chat room where you just took basic building necessities as far as establishing a business like that, and you added up all the figures, and it came up to either about the amount or right below the amount of what he said that he had collected.
Right.
So he's like, well, if you collected this much and just the basic stuff is to build a building and restore it is this much, where's all the money at?
Some people have been calling out Dr. Umar for years. Observers who were initially skeptical eventually began paying attention. Even as late as 2024, some were giving him the benefit of the doubt. At the time, other stories, like Tiffany Henyard's, were taking priority, and Dr. Umar's name kept surfacing. But upon closer examination, it became clear that he is operating as a scam artist. By 2025, it has become impossible to ignore Dr. Umar's misleading his audience and soliciting money under false pretenses. Contributions are not benefiting the community as promised. Reports indicate mock building projects and renovations were staged at a cost of $1.70 to $1.80 million, yet the school and other buildings remain unfinished despite raising over $2 million. Those interested in a deeper look at the situation can refer to the full interview by YouTuber Linen Honor, which goes into much more detail. There is ongoing coverage of developments related to Dr. Umar, and viewers are advised to remain observant and informed. Until then, audiences are encouraged to critically evaluate claims and remain cautious with their support.